At 5 a.m., 6 ICE officers in tactical gear surround a guest cottage. Commander Torres signals the team forward.
Federal agents, open the door. We are here for an immigration inspection. Do not resist.
Gentlemen, this is the home of a foreign diplomat. You are violating international law.
The red embossed seal catches the flashlight beam. Full diplomatic immunity in stark gold lettering.
Wait, that seal. That's full diplomatic immunity. Stand down. Everyone back. Cease the operation immediately.
Weapons are lowered. The team backs away, confusion rippling through the ranks.
How did we not get flagged? Someone is going to answer for this.
Get me the State Department's Diplomatic Security Command. Tell them His Excellency, Volkov, requires an urgent conference.
Within the hour, a formal diplomatic protest will be filed. The woman who made the anonymous tip has no idea what she has set in motion.
Foreign license plates. Never at the HOA meetings. He doesn't belong here. Time for a tip.
She uploaded the photo of the sedan with diplomatic plates. To her, it was just proof of a suspicious outsider.
Done. Let's see how long you last now, Alexander.
At dawn, Evelyn watched from her window as black-clad agents surrounded the cottage. Vindication at last, but within minutes, the agents were retreating. No arrest, no victory, just confusion and rapid departure.
Wait, why are they leaving? Something is wrong.
At the State Department, Agent Harris read the field report. An anonymous tip had led to an ICE raid on a diplomat.
An anonymous caller flagged this property. Find the source before this turns into a full-blown international incident.
The embassy's legal attaché was already demanding a formal explanation. The clock was ticking.
Something went terribly wrong. I need to know what happened.
Agent Harris traced the tip to Evelyn Morris, the HOA neighborhood safety chair, who'd filed the report.
Another number I don't recognize, probably a reporter digging for dirt, not talking.
The U.S. ambassador to Alexander's country sent a formal apology, acknowledging the breach of diplomatic protocol. Alexander's government filed a Vienna Convention complaint, citing Article 31's absolute immunity from detention. The embassy's legal attaché demanded answers, his tone sharp enough to inflame a diplomatic crisis.
This woman had no clue she triggered an international incident. Get her on the line now.
Maybe they gave up. No one's called. It was just a false alarm. I should relax.
The investigation now had her name, address, and IP address. A federal referral was imminent.
It was just a tip. They must have had their reasons for leaving. I did my civic duty.
But Evelyn Morris had no idea that the machinery of international diplomacy was now aimed directly at her. Later that morning, Liam Reeves answered a call from the State Department, and the details made his stomach drop.
My HOA chair dialed ICE because my tenant has diplomatic plates. Are you serious?
He drove straight to the community center, where Evelyn Morris was already gaveling the HOA meeting to order.
Mr. Reeves, you are not on the agenda. State your business and then leave.
My business is the international incident you created by calling ICE on Ambassador Volkov.
Ambassador, that man is a security risk. I was protecting our neighborhood.
You called ICE on an ambassador? Evelyn, this is beyond HOA protocol. It's a federal matter.
The State Department has your name. Diplomatic complaints are already on file. This is only the beginning.
I refuse to be intimidated. The HOA charter supports safety enforcement.
But behind her, the other board members shifted uncomfortably. Not a single voice rose in her defense. 2 days after the HOA meeting, Agent Harris appeared at Evelyn Morris's front door with a formal interview request.
I have nothing to say without my attorney. This is harassment.
You filed a tip that triggered a diplomatic incident. Mrs. Morris, this is a federal investigation.
He placed the photos on the table, her own snapshots of Alexander's sedan, complete with timestamps.
They pulled my phone records. How did they get those?
Her lawyer arrived, a junior partner who looked as if he'd been briefed in the car.
We have the IP address, the tip form, and the photos. Under 18 U.S.C. Section 112, this is a felony.
The color drained from Evelyn's face as her lawyer scribbled notes.
Felony? It was just a phone call. This can't be happening.
For the first time, her denials cracked. The machinery of federal law was not something she could out-argue. The foreign embassy formally lodged a full diplomatic complaint, citing a grave violation of the Vienna Convention. The U.S. ambassador's formal apology was delivered to Alexander personally, acknowledging the grave diplomatic error. Article 31 of the Vienna Convention guarantees diplomatic agents absolute immunity from any form of detention. The State Department confirmed Evelyn's conduct constituted interference with diplomatic functions, a federal violation.
Interference with diplomatic functions. That's federal? My God, what have I done?
Cable news ran the story. HOA, chair triggers international crisis. Legal experts praised the swift federal response. Her lawyer warned that a federal civil suit for $1.8 million was being prepared.
$1.8 million. I'll lose everything. My house, my savings, my reputation.
The once confident HOA enforcer now spent her days dodging reporters and ignoring legal notifications. And the clock was ticking. The suit would be filed any day, targeting her assets first. Within a week, a federal prosecutor filed the civil suit, citing the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act and federal anti-harassment statutes. The legal complaint demanded $1.8 million in damages, plus trebled legal costs under federal law. On a gray afternoon, a process server arrived at Evelyn Morris's door with a thick envelope stamped U.S. District Court.
This is it. The lawsuit I've been dreading. They really went through with it.
Her hands shook as she signed for the package, her mind reeling with the weight of federal litigation.
$1.8 million. That's more than my house is worth. I can't defend this.
Her lawyer reviewed the filing and saw no grounds for dismissal. The evidence was catalogued and damning.
They're going to take everything. My house, my savings, my standing in this community.
Her once impenetrable HOA authority was now a liability, and no one was offering to help. The lawsuit was now a federal case, and Evelyn Morris was the defendant with no escape. Within days, the lawsuit turned Evelyn Morris into a national headline. Her neighbors were less than sympathetic.
That man next door is a diplomat. He never told anyone. I wasn't the only one in the dark.
At the next HOA meeting, Deputy Park stood and read a prepared statement.
The board has voted unanimously to terminate Evelyn Morris's membership, effective immediately. We condemn her actions.
They're throwing me to the wolves. That board is full of hypocrites.
Online, strangers called for her arrest. Her social media accounts filled with vitriol, and she deleted them one by one.
This isn't what I signed up for. I was only trying to protect my neighborhood.
Cable news trucks camped outside her house for a week, and every knock on the door sent her heart racing.
I can't leave my own house. They're all waiting to crucify me.
By the end of the month, Evelyn Morris's world had shrunk to the four walls of her living room, her coral blazer hanging unused in the closet. The court order arrived by email. All personal accounts were frozen pending resolution of the federal suit.
Frozen. I can't even buy groceries without a court order now.
She tried to withdraw cash from an ATM down the street, but the machine flashed a hold notice and kept her card.
My entire life is locked up. They've taken everything but the air I breathe.
Her lawyer came to the house after dusk, his expression tired as he laid out the grim options. Settle now, he advised, because a trial would drain every cent you don't have and still leave you liable.
Settle with what? I can't even pay my own legal bills without those accounts.
Desperate, she whispered about selling the house, but the judge had already placed a lien on all property.
My house is the only thing worth anything, and they've chained it in legal red tape.
Without access to a single asset, Evelyn Morris faced a federal suit she could neither fund nor flee. Her lawyer filed an emergency motion to dismiss, arguing Evelyn had no intent to disrupt diplomatic relations and was acting in good faith. At the hearing, Agent Harris presented the tip line transcript and Evelyn's own social media posts about suspicious foreigners. The judge noted that her pattern of targeting non-white residents demolished any claim of an innocent mistake.
Good faith? They're twisting my words to make me look like a monster.
With a single gavel strike, The motion was denied. The case would go to trial that afternoon. The State Department announced a press conference to address the diplomatic incident. Her lawyer's voice was flat on the phone. The government intended to seek maximum penalties.
Maximum penalties. They'll drag it out in open court for everyone to see.
Evelyn watched the press conference from her living room, the officials refusing to answer questions about the pending trial.
A federal trial with no money and no allies. This is how it ends.
2 days after the motion was denied, the State Department held the press conference Agent Harris had promised.
Effective immediately, the residence at 47 Ridgeview Drive, IVE, is designated a diplomatic auxiliary residence under the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act. It enjoys full federal protection.
Then he displayed the official certificate, its gold seal catching the camera flashes. That afternoon, a State Department team installed a metal sign at the property entrance. No civilian inspection would ever be permitted again. The HOA inspector, who had been harassing Liam for years, arrived the next morning and was turned away by a State Department guard.
Today we raise the flag of my homeland, a symbol of the permanent friendship this property now embodies.
Liam stood beside Alexander as the foreign flag rose, a quiet smile of vindication on his face. From her upstairs window, Evelyn Morris watched through the Venetian blinds, her coral blazer hanging limp on her shoulders.
They've made his cottage an embassy. The HOA can't touch it. He's untouchable.
And in that moment, she knew her only remaining asset was the house, and the embassy was already inquiring. She called her lawyer. "List the house," she said. "Anything to salvage what was left." By noon, a real estate sign was stabbed into her front lawn, the ink barely dry on the listing.
I never thought I'd see my own lawn with a for sale sign. This is rock bottom.
The first offers came in at half the appraised value. Vulture investors who knew about the lawsuit and smelled blood.
Half of what it's worth. They're trying to rob me while I am down.
Her lawyer warned that without a fair sale, she'd never cover the $1 million judgment. The clock was running. Then the embassy's cultural fund called. They were interested in the property as overflow guest housing.
The very people I reported want to buy my house? This is a sick joke.
But the offer was real, and it was the only one that didn't reek of exploitation. Evelyn stared at the sign in her yard and the flag next door, knowing her choices had narrowed to one painful path. The embassy's formal offer arrived the next morning, delivered by a cultural attaché in a dark suit.
My house will become a diplomatic guest house, just like his.
Her lawyer called an hour later, his tone clinical. Accepting this offer is the only path to unfreezing assets and settling the federal suit.
He's right, but this isn't a choice, it's a surrender.
The purchase price covered the judgment and legal fees, but it meant her home would become permanent embassy property.
I reported them to ICE, and now I am selling to them. The irony is poison.
She held the offer letter in her trembling hands, the embassy's golden crest burning into her vision.
This was my only victory, and now it's just survival.
The lawyer's words echoed. Without this, the court would force a sale at auction, and she'd still owe more. That evening, Evelyn Morris told her lawyer to prepare the acceptance. The flag would fly next door, and now on her own lawn. The signing took place at her lawyer's office. Evelyn's hand trembled as she pressed the pen to the page.
This pen is heavier than anything I've ever held. Each stroke is another piece of myself.
The embassy attaché countersigned, and the keys to Evelyn's home slid across the table.
It's official. I no longer own my own house. The embassy does.
By that afternoon, embassy workers arrived with paint cans and a brass plaque.
They're already erasing me. The Morris name is gone.
Her lawyer's advice was blunt. Vacate within the week, and the funds would unfreeze. Delay, and the court might reverse the deal.
A week to pack up my life, while they paint over everything I built.
The moving trucks were scheduled for Friday. Evelyn Morris had 7 days to disappear, and as she packed, the flag next door waved in the afternoon sun, a constant reminder of all she had lost. On Friday morning, the moving truck backed into the driveway with a diesel groan, and the crew began loading her life into boxes.
So many years in that house, and it all fits in a single truck.
She walked through the hollow rooms one last time, each echo a memory she couldn't keep.
I believed I'd grow old in this place. I fought for it, and I lost.
Through the front window, she saw embassy staff already arranging new furniture in her living room. A worker removed the mailbox that said Morris and installed a polished box with the embassy crest.
They're moving in before my scent has faded. Professional and merciless.
She got into her car, sat motionless, and stared at the flag across the street, the one she'd tried to report. The moving truck pulled away first, and she followed, her tires crunching on the gravel one last time. By evening, a foreign flag flew from the porch she used to sweep. The Morris name had been replaced. Within a week, the transformation was complete. Evelyn's old house now served as a fully operational diplomatic guest residence.
The guest house is hosting visitors already. A fitting addition.
Her house is now a diplomatic guest house. The woman who tried to drive out foreigners ended up hosting them.
Each morning, diplomatic sedans with foreign plates rolled up the driveway, and uniformed drivers opened doors for visiting officials. The brass plaque beside the front door gleamed with the embassy's golden seal. The neighbors who once sided with Evelyn now crossed the street to avoid the embassy guards.
Liam, I hope you will join us for a small gathering next month. It is time to celebrate our friendship.
I'd be honored, Alexander. After everything, it's good to see this place become a bridge instead of a battlefield.
The neighborhood gradually adjusted, some curious, some still turning away. But the flags remained, unbothered by the wind, and a week later, the embassy's invitations began to arrive. The embassy mailed invitations on cream stock with gold foil to State Department officials, local dignitaries, and embassy staff.
The annual gala we will host here will be a symbol of our enduring friendship, Liam.
A gala on this property, who would have thought? It's a far cry from an ice raid.
A white event tent rose on the lawn, shadowed by the two flagpoles. Crews hung string lights and arranged tables for 200 guests. The community buzzed with curiosity. For the first time, neighbors wanted a glimpse inside the diplomatic enclave.
It feels like a victory parade, but without the tanks. Just flowers and fine china.
Under the tent, staff polished silverware and placed name cards on each table.
Tomorrow evening, we will raise a toast to peace and to the place where it was made real.
As dusk fell, the first diplomatic sedans began to arrive, headlights slicing through the evening mist. Under the tent's soft glow, diplomats and dignitaries mingled, their laughter rising above the distant flagpoles.
You turned a crisis into a protected enclave, Mr. Reeves. Few civilians can claim that.
All I did was stand my ground. The rest was an avalanche of consequences she brought on herself.
Alexander stood at the lectern under the tent, a champagne flute in his hand, and the crowd hushed.
To Liam, whose home became a sanctuary. To law and friendship that turned violation into invitation.
He handed Liam a framed certificate, identical to the State Department's, but inscribed with a personal note.
This cottage was just my tenant's retreat. Now it's a bridge between nations. Thank you, Alexander.
As the last toast faded, the night sky erupted with fireworks, streaking above the cottage in brilliant arcs. Guests tilted their heads back, and even the embassy guards allowed themselves a rare smile. The lights, the music, the flags, a permanent seal on everything Evelyn had tried to destroy. 12 months later, the foreign flag still snapped in the June breeze above both properties, a permanent reminder of that morning raid. Evelyn Morris now lived in a cramped studio apartment across town, her view a parking lot and a discount supermarket. She worked a remote data entry job, wearing a headset and monotone greetings, her HOA gavel long retired.
Some mornings I still expect to see my old garden. Instead, I see dumpsters.
Peace has a sound here. Flag ropes clinking, coffee brewing, no inspectors knocking.
He still rose early to read on the porch, the diplomatic sign at his driveway a quiet monument to the past. Both properties stood side by side, flags intertwined, the guest house bustling with visiting diplomats. The Embassy Cultural Fund had painted the old Morris house a soft cream, and the plaque by the door read Guest Residence of the Embassy. The neighborhood had learned to live with the new order. The flag's a permanent part of the landscape now, and every June, just as the peonies bloomed, the foreign flag was raised higher, a silent echo of the day everything changed. On the anniversary of the diplomatic designation, a small ceremony gathered on the lawn.
Today we replace the flag as we do each year, a symbol that outlasts rumors and outlasts prejudice.
A crisp new flag rose, its colors bright against the June sky, and the small crowd applauded softly.
A year ago, I was waking to an ice raid. Now I am watching a flag ceremony. Strange world.
After the ceremony, Alexander and Liam retreated to the porch, a decanter of whiskey between them.
To the protection of law and to the stubbornness of good men, may this property never see another 5 a.m. knock.
I'll drink to that. My grandfather would have liked you, Alexander.
Later, alone in his study, Liam stood before the framed deed from 1971.
Don't let the bastards take what's yours. I didn't, Grandpa. I held the line.
Outside the window, the foreign flag caught the last light of dusk, a silent sentinel over the property. Liam returned to the porch alone, the whiskey decanter now half empty, the evening cooling around him. He watched the two flags stir in the same breeze, one familiar, one foreign, now both part of the landscape.
This is what winning looks like. Not revenge, just peace.
He thought of Evelyn's empty apartment, but the thought passed without heat. His grandfather's deed still hung on the study wall, the ink as sharp as the day it was signed. Not just a piece of land anymore, a sanctuary.
Grandpa would have gotten a kick out of this. A diplomatic residence. Who would have thought?
The evening deepened, and the first stars pricked the purple sky. He didn't need to go inside. The quiet was enough, the knowledge that no one would ever storm this place again. The property sat still, protected, permanent. A story that had become a place, under the starry sky. Both flags still flew side by side, a silent testament to the year that had passed. In the quiet, the question lingered. What if it had been someone without immunity, without a diplomatic seal to halt the raid? That is why we tell these stories, to remind us that the law can protect the just, and that karma has a long memory. When an HOA enforcer called ICE, she had no idea she was targeting an ambassador. What followed changed international law in one suburban neighborhood and left a permanent flag to prove it. So here is the question for you. What would you do if someone called ICE on your tenant and he turned out to be a foreign ambassador with full diplomatic immunity? Drop your state below and share your own story. And never forget, keep your receipts. All of them. See you next time.